Well, welcome into a very exciting episode of The Scene. I'm your host, Bubba Starts, and with me today, a singer, songwriter, and social media influencer, Anna Storm. Anna, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Oh, it's great to be back home. I was telling you right before we jumped on, I've spent the last 2 weeks out at the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally. I had the time of my life, but I am so grateful to be back here in the studio and with such a lovely new guest. Anna, for myself and everyone else, why don't you tell us a little bit about your backstory? And we're going to talk about that new single you got coming out soon, One More Margarita.
Oh, it's already come out actually, June
Let's
24th.
go.
But anyways, a little bit about me is I am I am like a pop artist. I'm like a hybrid artist, I would say. Like my music blends like a lot of different genres, which I think is typical of like my generation because I'm Gen Z. Like we're always kind of like finding ways to like remix culture. So like I'm very inspired by like the 2000s, as you can tell by my aesthetic. And like I love hip hop, I love pop music. I like EDM and I blend those all kind of together in my music. So it really like I try to really hit a lot of genres when I'm making a song. Like there's a lot of influence from various genres. I have two songs in mind, Confident and Versace Shade are both on Lizzo's reality show Watch Out for the Big Girls, as well as I have my song Confidence on the Real Housewives of Dubai. So I have some TV placements there. And a lot of my message, like my hashtag is hashtag slay life, and I'm really active on TikTok and Instagram and Snapchat. And basically, slay life is all about like living your best life and just like not giving a fuck about what anyone has to say, just going out there killing shit. And I think my followers, aka my stormtroopers, really resonate with that message. Like I'm all about empowerment and just being authentically yourself. And I think my music reflects that too.
Yeah, well, and it must to kind of get those sync placements on shows like that, a brand, especially like Lizzo's, which is very much the same. I don't give an F who thinks what about me. So yeah, hey, that's the very cool. Very cool. You may be one of our first guests that's had not just sync placements, but on TV, on reality TV. Can you talk a little bit about that process? For a lot of our listeners are the artists that are on the show as well. Talk a little bit about the process of getting a sync placement like that onto a national TV broadcast.
Yeah, so the process of that is I actually I found, and I'm very like social media savvy. Like I basically got that because I networked on Instagram with this battle rapper from New York named Lady Luck. Shout out to Lady Luck. And she had a sync placement company, and I ended up doing a record with her. And she just showed her catalog to the different TV shows, and they happened to choose my song. So it really came through like networking, and that's why like social media has been such an instrumental part in my brand. Like everything from, the sync placements to just my fan base, because like I've gotten such a good fan base from TikTok, like younger Gen Z, Gen Alpha, just from being active on those platforms. So like I think as far as like listeners, if they want to know how to get sync placements or just like to accomplish anything nowadays, like build your brand on social media and learn how to use it.
Right. And it feels like a broken record because I've been in this business for a long time and I haven't always kept up the best with, new trends. I was late to the TikTok game. A couple years in prison didn't help me there. Time moves very slowly
Oh
there. And when
shit.
you get out, it's a whole new world and you're 30 something years old and you're like, shit. But we've caught up a lot. And obviously, TikTok has been huge for bringing in new fans for a lot of our friends around there, whether there be artists or influencers, either one. And so, yeah, it's so important for any artist or business to have a social media present and not just to like have a Facebook page and to just let it sit there. You have to be engaging with
You
people
have to be
all the time.
engaging with people all the time. And like I know for me too, like I've had a Facebook page for a while, but like I find that I'm not as active on Facebook as like some of the others just because my audience doesn't have Facebook. You know what I mean? So you have to like know your audience too and like what kind of resonates with like your demographic, like the social media platforms that are most effective.
Yep, and I think that's something that we can all learn more about all the time. Do you share a lot of tips like that? Like, what is your kind of obviously you have the Slay Life platform, but are you kind of engaging with other creators and kind of helping out that younger generation of creators and teaching them as well?
I would say I'm teaching them how to make content because they know, but I would say that like a lot of them, like I did a show in Florida. I have an upcoming show in Houston, and all the fan base is basically from TikTok, and they're all like, 12 through like 16, and they just resonate with my content because I feel like they really get me and like look at me as the voice of like their generation. Like I get like the struggles they're going through. I get their slang. I get the trends. Like, and I'm really like, a couple of them have told me that like they want to be just like me when they like grow up. So, I think it's just people like they're looking for like role models. And, we don't have like, music videos on MTV and stuff. So they're on TikTok. So how they're introduced to stuff is like through these platforms, and they resonate with certain people and they don't with others, I think it's just the medium nowadays.
Right. Well, and I think you touched on something that I've never really thought about, but influencers of today are the pop stars of yesterday, right? I mean,
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
people are looking up to you, maybe as girls my age growing up looked up to a Britney Spears or Christina Aguilera, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Hmm.
That's exactly it. Yeah, because they don't, a lot of them, I mean, maybe they know who Britney is, but it's not like they're like huge fans. Like they don't have like posters on their
Well, and
wall.
honestly, somebody who's 12, Britney's probably old enough to be their grandma at this point, you
That's true,
know?
dead ass. Yeah.
You know?
I love Britney. She's one of my
Yeah. Well,
ones.
you talk about someone who's always kind of done her own thing and somebody who grew up in such a crazy life, right? That early Mickey Mouse days. I mean, from the time that you are, some of your fans' age, they were 10, 12 years old out there performing in this show and living a completely different lifestyle than
Yeah.
anyone had before or really has since then. Just a changing world. I feel so old some days, and yet I feel like I still have a lot to offer to this generation, and a lot in the way that you said. They're looking for role models. They're looking for people to show them kind of how to do that and trusted people they can trust. And not because someone has told them to trust this person, but because that person shows up on their feed every day and they build a relationship with them
Yeah.
like that. Do you when do you feel like you really got the hang of not just your content, but of your brand? I'm assuming that all of this that I'm seeing now has been an evolution to the Anna Storm that we see today. What is it a long course for you to kind of figure out what that platform is that you wanted to be? Or were you like out of the box, this is Anna and I'm ready to go?
You know, I think like before I ended up just kind of coming, even releasing music or even working on music or even really doing anything, like I kind of had a vague idea of like I wanted to stand out and I'm like, there's so many singers. There's so many singers. I didn't want to just be another singer. I wanted to like have an edge. I wanted to be relatable, but like still aspirational, and I just didn't want to be another singer, because it's just overpopulated. So I was like, what I kind of thought to myself, like, what makes me unique? What can I amplify in my personality that will resonate as like an entertainment brand? And I feel like I've been good at like adapting, to like the trends and kind of like fitting my personality around those trends. So it's been kind of like a work in motion progress.
Right. Well, and you've mentioned trends a couple of times. So you're trying, you're obviously investing time into staying current, but also staying true to yourself and the brand that you've spent so much time building. Do you feel like that's a struggle to maintain your individuality while also trying to stay up with the current trends, especially as fast as the music business and entertainment business are moving?
Actually, I don't really think that's hard. I basically think that a huge contributor to that has just been like just being super active on TikTok, like not only creating content, but like watching the content on TikTok, because then it's, if you're able to kind of grasp like what's kind of in and what's like hitting, then you can, I feel like it's been easy for me to like fit that into my personality.
Maybe that's my problem with TikTok. I'm not engaging with the platform as a consumer.
Yeah.
And I'm not necessarily trying to do that. What we're trying to grow with our podcast and our networks is really something different. We're trying to kick off podcasters and they can figure out how to get famous on their own.
Yeah.
Really focusing in on the content side of it, right? This is how you make content. This is how you produce records. This is how you produce podcasts. It's really not that hard, but a lot of people just need a little bit of hand holding in that early stage. And then what to see what some of our, some of our friends, it's hard to call anyone a client, but to see what they've done with it, right? Like
Yeah.
here's how you make a podcast and this is how you, kind of do a social media profile. And now what you build out of that brand is all up to you. It's such a different world than even when I got out of, I mean, 2018, I got out of prison. And in those 7 years, I feel like things have moved double time from where they were
Yeah.
moving before, if not faster. So
Definitely. Definitely.
awesome, Anna. Well, we talked a little bit off the hit about your new song, One More Margarita. Tell us some more.
Yeah, so it's like my new summer banger. It's like a blend of pop, rap, and EDM. And like there's been some websites and blogs that have written about it saying that it like offers like nostalgia with like a tinge of something new. Like it's giving like 2000s, 2010s club vibes, but like mixed with today. And they just like, there's just a lot of genre blending in it and it's really bold. And a lot of, I mean, all my fans have been liking it. And it's just a party anthem. I think like, yeah, there's a lot of good lines in there. Like this island time ain't really slow speed. I mix my lines with Patron and codeine. I don't know.
You,
That's my
Anna, you
writing.
like to party, girl.
I do. I'm slay life. Period. I do
Uh,
like to party.
Yeah, how fun. Well, the song sounds fantastic. We have another show we call Love Noise, which is actually a review show. So we'll ask you to send us an MP3 if you'd like us to do the same and write about it in
Period.
our blog as well and give you some more promo and say some nice things about you. Anna, tell everyone where they can find you before I let you go.
Y'all can find me on TikTok and Instagram at It's Anna Storm, ITS Anna Storm. You can find me on Spotify, Anna Storm, Facebook, facebook.com/Anna Storm Slay Life, and Snapchat ST0RMYYY Stormy. And yeah, thank you. Slay Life. Thank you for having me on.
Well, I can't wait to slay life with you, Anna. I'm looking forward to hearing the song, and I want to thank you so much for being a part of the scene.
Thank you so much for having me.